Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday, the 5th of August, 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the Reserve Bank of Australia updated its economic forecast this morning. The central bank says inflation will remain high for the next year before falling towards 4% by the end of 2023. But the bank warns that expectations of higher inflation could result in actual inflation being higher for longer. Finding a job isn't going to be a problem for quite some time. The bank has forecast an unemployment rate of 4% or less for the next couple of years. It's already at multi-decade lows and it's going to get lower later this year, according to the Reserve, 3.25%. Pretty incredible. But economic growth is expected to fall sharply. That's the bad news, in part due to the run of interest rate rises we've had. The economy is expected to expand by 3.25% this year and then 1.75% in each of the following 2 years. Household spending is hurting from higher prices and interest rates, and that will continue with real disposable income growth and house prices set to fall. Internationally, the risks are skewed to the downside, the Reserve Bank said. Not really a particularly upbeat report at the end of the day. Story number 2, the S&P ASX 200 rose 0.6% today to finish at 7,016 points. It's the first time the benchmark index has closed above 7,000 points since June. For the week, the index was up more than 1%. Today, among the large caps, BHP rose 2%, while Rio Tinto jumped 2.4%, and Fortescue Metals was up nearly 3%. The banks were mixed, the retailers were strong, so too Telstra. The ongoing increase in the price of gold helped the gold stocks. Ramelius Resources and Silver Lake Resources were up nearly 7%. Market leader Newcrest Mining rose 0.6%. Energy stocks fell along with the price of oil. Ampol and Beach Energy were both off 3%. Woodside was down 1.5%, while Santos was off nearly 1%. Core Lithium appointed a new CEO and its share price jumped more than 6%, while Block, which earlier this year bought Afterpay, tumbled 6% after reporting its quarterly earnings this morning. Story number 3. Oil fell to its lowest level in almost 6 months today as weaker US gasoline demand and recessionary fears weighed on markets. West Texas Intermediate was down to $89 a barrel, a level last seen in the weeks leading up to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Brent crude fell to below $95 a barrel. Talk of recession is getting louder, and that's easing the pressure on energy prices. It's good news as far as the petrol barrels is concerned, and if you're filling up this weekend, make sure you look for something a bit cheaper. Story number 4. Atlassian, Australia's homegrown tech superstar, reported better than expected earnings for the June quarter this morning, sending its share price, which is listed on Wall Street of course, up 10%. The group made quarterly revenue of about 1 billion Aussie dollars, pretty good. That was about a third higher than 12 months ago. It still lost money though, more than 100 million US dollars, as it invested in people and research and development, but still shareholders and investors liked the news. Atlassian bosses Scott Farquhar and Mike Cannon-Brookes believe the company is somewhat insulated from tightening economic conditions as its products are targeted at technology developers, who they say are typically the last roles businesses cut back when they're tightening their belts. And finally, story number 5. China fired 5 missiles into Japanese waters east of Taiwan today, sending a not-so-subtle warning to the US and Japan about coming to the aid of Taiwan if Beijing invades the country. The missiles likely flew over Taiwan for the first time during its ongoing military drills. This, of course, is in response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan earlier in the week. The situation is not getting any better. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 5th of August, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.